Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to Cruisnick Sanctuary. I'm your host, Cruisnick X. Alongside me, Arya Stormborn.
I'm invisible and I'm good at it.
Hyacinth.
Yo, yo, yo.
Baron Boop Boop.
Technical issues. Always. Technical freaking issues.
Is Minerva with us or no?
She will be eventually.
Fair enough. And joining us, I believe, for the first time on Cruisnick Sanctuary, or in a Cruisnick Sanctuary episode, is Suzaku Hide.
Hello.
So, once again, I am playing Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, the newest expansion in the Final Fantasy XIV saga. The story so far is, well, we defended Radzatan from several blasphemies in the last 2-3 episodes. And Vitra finally revealed that he is the true satrap of Radzatan. Unfortunately, in that exact moment, Fortunault the Dick Biscuit decides to show up with his posse and explain his plan to run away. Yeah, this should go over well. Anyway, let's get right down to it with the next quest in the saga, at World's End. Greetings, honored Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I have a message from His Excellency, the Satrap. Brave Scions, you have my gratitude for aiding my people in this most trying of times. Alas, matters here at Megadota prevent me from meeting you all in person. As a token of mine appreciation, I have arranged a feast to be held in your honor. May it nourish you in preparation for the trials ahead. Such are the words of Master Vitra. The feast he speaks of awaits you at Merid's Mehane. Pray, make your way there whenever your business here is done.
On target.
Actually, right next to it. You are right next to getting the Aetheryte.
We thank you for your kindness. Indeed, I was hoping we might find a place to discuss our next course of action, and that seems an ideal venue. Ah, and to you, Chris Valentine, there is someone we had hoped to introduce to you in particular. While I am loath to detain you further, might you spare a moment of your time? A personal invitation? Knowing full well your services are in the highest demand right now, this must be important. Worry not, we'll save some food for you, so take all the time you need. Alright. Thank you, friend. Whenever you are ready, please join me in the Aetheryte Plaza. I shall go on ahead.
Okay, so at this
one
point...
moment. Well, we're gonna have to quit this quest for 5 minutes, because I gotta go get meds. And I can't do it, so yeah. What time does the pharmacy close? It's the one over on, over near us.
I'll say it.
Alright,
We'll
let's see, I'll take the Aetheryte to Azal... Tonight? That's the store, not the pharmacy. Okay, so let me get this quest done, and I'll take a break. You're welcome.
Alright, so...
Alright, we gotta blaze through this. Anyway,
Okay,
back to the Radiant Host Soldier. Access to the Aetheryte you see there has been restricted to a select few ever since the Tower first appeared.
There you go.
We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, but it was deemed too dangerous to permit the free movement of visitors at a time of an emergency, a risk we could not take. In light of
Yeah,
recent
everything's
developments, however, the Satrap has decided that such restrictions would only hinder our efforts to combat the final days. As such, I would encourage you to attune with the Aetherite before proceeding along the corridor.
Yep. I was just about to say that you get it now, because I
Finally!
remember.
Fucking finally!
Finally. Yep. Even I was like, why did they do this again? And then it comes to realize, now I understand.
I mean, I understood. It doesn't make it any less stupid.
I know. But it does make sense anyway.
But anyway, alright, let's, Oh, I don't have the Aetherite for the Hall of the Radiant Host yet.
Yeah, that's one I did grab. Which is fine, because that's perfect.
Ah,
because you
well,
have to go
I
down
think
that
it's the
way.
last one I have to get anyway, so...
Yeah, you have to go that way anyway.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are these damn turtles?
Alright,
Also,
that's
it's so nice to see this.
here...
No
Ah,
more-
you must be wondering what this place is. You stand in the Hall of the Radiant Host, from where our leadership oversees all of Radzatan's military operations. Sundrop, our destination, lies just ahead. Oop, I'm grabbing this Aetherite first. Do 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 do. Alright.
Question is...
You have attuned yourself to all the Ethernet shards in Radzat-Han. Davner is now accessible as an Ethernet destination. Good. Oh, wrong way. This way. Through this door.
Where
Alright,
are they?
who am I meeting? Oh, wait a minute. Welcome to Sundrop. Without further ado, allow me to introduce you to... Oh, so you're the famous Chris Valentine, eh? I knew it the moment you stepped through the door. You've the look of one who's walked through hell. Shirabat, please! You are speaking to the Satrap's honored guest and a savior of our people. Can you not show a modicum of respect? What disrespect is there in paying a fellow warrior a compliment? We're all friends here, or will be soon enough. More formally then, for the benefit of my countrymen, it is a pleasure to have you with us, O great champion of Eorzea, scion of the Seventh Dawn, warrior of light, an all-around good egg, I'm sure. This talk of eggs reminds me I'm late for dinner.
I do like the fact that she's like, okay, if you want, like, compliments, here, let me just give you a slew of them.
A man after my own heart. I like that. Don't you worry, I'll keep it short. There's just a thing or two we'd like you to remember. First of all, about the room you're standing in now. Radzat-Han welcomes delegates from other lands to oversee trade and diplomatic dealings. Then there are the military matters to discuss,
I'm on the wrong one.
which is why all these officers are stationed here in Sundrop. I imagine you're more than familiar with each of the nations they represent, yes? We've got representatives from Doma, Ulda and Alamigo, Limsa Lominsa, Gridania, and last, but never let it be said least, Ishgard. They're the eyes, ears, and mouths that bridge the distance between Radzat-Han and their respective homelands. We've used this brief respite to share the details of our plight with our overseas counterparts. And wouldn't you know it, all of their readers requested a few words from you specifically. You're a man in high demand, eh? And so, would you mind regaling us with your own account? Indulge us before you indulge yourself. Sure, I guess I could do that.
I thank you for the report. The conditions under which men are turned to beasts, the etheric anomalies you have observed. You've given us much to consider. It is concerning that the first transformation apparently occurred before the skies turned red. It is contrary to what one would expect.
Thankfully, the information you conveyed to Lucia upon your return from the moon has already proved invaluable. As soon as reports of the calamity here in Thavnir reached the Grand Company of Eorzea and our Far Eastern allies, our leaders knew at once that the final days were indeed upon us. They began taking steps to assess the extent of the phenomenon's spread. Our agents were able to confirm that, for the time being, the skies burn only over the bounty, including this island and Corvos. Alas, that is of little comfort.
Aye. All throughout allied lands there have been reports of people transforming into hideous beasts. From what little we have learned, these incidents are similar in nature to that involving the merchant Karzal. As was the case here, the victims underwent the change prior to the heavens being set ablaze. And so, while the burning skies have yet to manifest beyond the bounty, the transformations do not appear to be subject to any similar restriction. If anyone anywhere overcome by despair can turn, then nowhere is safe.
That's about the size of it. Speaking of which, we ought to give these creatures a name, don't you think? Here in Radzatan, we've taken to calling the first to change, which tend to be the biggest, blasphemies.
As fitting a name as any. To ensure clarity in future communications, we shall all urge our comrades to adopt this terminology.
Our leaders are taking measures to deal with the threat, to the best of our abilities.
Aye. Each nation has assembled their own groups of elite soldiers to put down these so-called blasphemies and their spawn, as and when they appear. At the same time, they're doing all in their power to put the people's minds at ease and prevent panic and fear from spreading. That said, brave souls with the strength and fortitude to fell these terrible fiends are not so easily found.
Just so. It is for that very reason that we turn to you. Pray, lend us your strength and help us to slay the blasphemies that plague our homelands.
Sounds good to me.
Now, you don't have to give your reply before dinner. I should also mention that each blasphemy seems to possess wildly different characteristics. What works well against one may serve you poorly against another. So, before you go rushing off to save everyone's day, have a word with the delegates. They'll tell you what to expect. And with that, I do believe our friend here has a feast to attend. Spare a thought for us while you're tucking into all that fine cuisine, eh?
You have gained access to the role quest for Endwalker. A separate quest line and story is now available for tank, melee DPS, physical range DPS, magical range DPS, and healer roles. To undertake these quests, speak with any of the delegates in Sundrop and agree to help defeat the blasphemies that plague their respective homelands.
Also, that is how you unlock dyeing your class outfit.
Well, I will worry about that in a little while. Anyway, let's get moving. Pray, forgive Shira about her rudeness. She can be a bit boisterous at times, but it is simply her nature. Anyway, my apologies for keeping you from your hard-earned rest. You will be rejoining your companions, yes? Do you know the way to the Mehane? I know Radzatan like the back of my hand. Huh, well that's new. glad to hear you're becoming familiar with our fair city. You'll be pleased to hear that all drinks are on the house, so order whichever suits your fancy. And with that, I must return to my post. On behalf of all the Radiant host, I thank you and your friends once more for lending your strength and courage to Radzat Han in our time of need. We shall endeavor to fight the good fight to the end, that we might honor Ahewan's legacy and serve Master Vreetra well. You have my word that your efforts will not be in vain.
Works for me. As long as I'm not the only one doing stuff, I am happy. We will definitely be doing the role quest in future episodes of Cruisnick Sanctuary, but I've got a story to complete and I've got meds to get, so I need to move. So, to the Mehane. Whoops.
Hey
don't.
Baron, before you queue for the next one, let me get out of Gold Saucer, because I think that's why it's loading slower.
Yeah.
Oh, we're speaking to Malil.
It is best that you head to an inn if you want the fastest load times at this point.
Meh. Alright. Welcome.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I'm actually like pretty much instantly like getting back to the room.
Like, I was fine in the moon. I was perfectly fine in the moon, but I went to do my cacpot.
Anyway. Welcome. When the satrap asked us to entertain a party of honored guests, I was wondering who it might be. This is a lovely surprise, to say the least. By the way, I heard all about Kazal from your friend Grahatia. I understand there was nothing that could be done, but I was heartened to hear he meant us no harm. I cannot thank you enough for dispatching the beasts. As the smallest token of our thanks, your food and drink tonight are Merid's treat. Speaking of which, what shall I start you off with? A piping hot mug of chai, please.
I did that too.
As you wish. Pray, join your friends, and I will bring you your drink. I sure hope this is a voice cutscene. Welcome back. Whatever did the Radiant host want with you, pray tell? Our allies have sent military delegates. That's news to me. Mind sharing the details? Please say this is a voice cutscene so I can just go through.
I don't know. I don't remember.
So blasphemies now plague all the realm.
Yep, it's voiced so I can do some quick stuff.
It will only get worse if what Father said is true, as it did in Amarot.
If that's our model, then shouldn't we expect the effects to grow more severe as it feeds off its own spread?
Yep.
As if people transforming into those monstrosities wasn't bad enough. If the flora and fauna, if the land itself turned against us.
No one would survive.
Here's your order, friend.
Oh, we actually got a voice for her, too. Nice.
May you find comfort in these dark times.
Oh, I was using a softer voice than your normal.
Where do we go from here? If there's one thing we've learned, fighting blindly and simply reacting to what comes will accomplish nothing. We must find a solution that addresses the fundamental cause. Before our strength is exhausted, before this crisis spirals out of control. Is there something, anything we've overlooked?
If there is an answer, Hydaelyn herself will have it. 'Twas she who bound Zodiac and forestalled the final days. Alas, we have heard naught from her since the Tower of Babel. Whether she cannot or will not speak, I can only speculate. Even the flower she gave us is no more.
In our time, we called it Elpis. You would do well to remember the name.
So advised the Watcher. What could be the significance of that name? It is entirely unfamiliar to me.
To me as well. It meant something to the ancients, though. In our time.
Most surely. Yet I do not recall a single mention of it in the records of Anida.
Another dead end. And quite literally. It's not as if there are any ancients living we could go and ask.
But there is.
Not alive as such, but not quite dead.
And here comes the reveal.
Elidibus. I sealed him in the White Horosite at the Crystal Tower back on the first. Contained within that reservoir of ether that maintains it. Ether that is returned little by little to the sea. Naught may remain of his soul. However, if part of it lingers, we might be able to speak with him there. I know we can no longer make that journey, but you, my friend, still can.
Well, shit. Would be an opportunity to look in on the others as well.
Thank you, my friend. That would mean much to me.
If nothing else, should we learn the first is safe, we'll have that much more reason to keep fighting the good fight. That said, the odds are not in our favor, to say the least. Which is why we're fortunate to have Urianger up there on the moon, working hard to make all the necessary preparations for our departure, should it come to it.
And why we have nothing to lose by staying the course till the last instant.
Damn straight.
Indeed. To the last, let us all do what we can. I will consult with Master Matoya and see if she knows of a way to reach Hydaelyn from the ethereal sea.
And I will visit the nation's leaders and attempt to ascertain how far the final days have progressed elsewhere.
Keep me abreast of your findings. I can seek out and slay the worst of the immediate threats, if only to slow the spread.
Unease, terror, despair. Try as we might to suppress them, these emotions will return to harry us time and time again. But when they do, remember this. Your friends and loved ones are out there somewhere, sharing in your struggle. You are not alone.
So ends the brief respite before the next revelation. Yes, so much left for you to see. Where beginning ends, and end begins.
Where beginning ends and end begins. Yeah, that's not foreboding at all. Anyway, let's speak with Thancred. Now then, is there anything we've forgotten to mention? Are your arms and armor in good order? In that case, it's time we each attended to our tasks. And when you arrive on the first, give my regards to Reen.
Oh my gosh, I can't target Roppolo.
Tell her I miss her. I definitely will. Achievement unlocked, oh higher, and as much as I would love to enjoy giving my usual spiel, unfortunately we got no time, so we will continue this again in the next episode. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, here are all the links you need to get you where you need to go. We'll see you in the next episode.